organization is one of those things that everyone does a little differently. There's no real right way to do it, but I get the question all the time, how do you organize in Lightroom? How do you keep things separate? So that's what I'm gonna show you today. I'm gonna show you my process from SD card to reader to hard drive into Lightroom, ready for Lightroom adjustments. Now I think I'm gonna skip the intro. What do you guys think of me doing the intro every time? Do you care? Is it a waste of time? Comment below, let me know what you think, because I can just take it completely out. But with this video, I'm just gonna roll right into it. That way we don't waste any time. Now just as a note, if you look up here, you'll notice that there's a camera sticking there because I don't have one of those fancy dancy setups where the camera is hovering above me. I have the mic, but other than that, the camera's gonna stay in. That way you can see a top-down view of what I am doing. The first thing I do once I'm done taking pictures is I take the SD card out of the camera and I put it into a reader. Now this is the SD card that I use here. I use the Extreme Pro, the SanDisk Extreme Pros. This number right here tells you how fast the transfer is. This is the amount of space on the SD card that you can fill up. So space, speed in which the transfers. That's good. That's a good point to know. Now a lot of people have readers in their computers, but these days, especially with MacBooks, the SD readers are going away. Like my Mac, I have a 2019 MacBook Pro, does not have an SD reader. I have to use an external reader with a lightning cable. So this is what I use here. This is a ProGrade Reader. It's got the lightning cable to attach to the Mac. It's got two ports. It's got the CF Express, which is the card for the R5, and it's got the SD card for other cameras. You can get a ProGrade with just an SD card reader. I just wanted to make a note on the SD cards. If you look here on this little side, you see this little lock button. If you put your card in your camera and it says cannot access functions, make sure that this little switch here on the side is switched to non-locked, because sometimes when these SD cards, as they get used and worn down and down, this button can move easier, and every time you put it into the camera, it slides that button a little bit more. So just make sure that this little switch is pushed all the way. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but if you look on your SD card, you'll see it. Make sure that little switch is pushed off the lock button, otherwise you won't be able to access it. So what I do is I plug it into the computer, and then I put the SD card in the reader. So it'll show up here on the screen. You'll see this SanDisk hard drive over here. I use these as my hard drives. I don't put anything on my computer because it adds up really, really fast. So I use these solid state drives that are really, really good. They're a little bit pricier, but they're fast. The difference between a solid state and a regular hard drive is the solid state is much, much faster than the regular hard drive, so it's worth the expense depending on how much work you do and your length of workflow. Now, it seems like this video might be sponsored by SanDisk. It is not. I just happen to really like their products. They have always been very reliable, and I use all of them apparently. So this one here is actually a 1 terabyte one. I think it ranges around $200. I'll link all of the things that I use. I'll link in the description in case you're interested. But I don't put anything on my computer itself. Now, once I have this hard drive open, and I apologize for all of my stuff, I have files and stuff everywhere. So I create a file called pictures or new pictures or whatever. So usually what I do is I have an edit and a raw file. I'm in the midst of reorganizing, but I do the same setup. So if you double click on raw, I then create a folder for all the raws, and I'll call it the date. So today is October 22nd, 2021. So then I'll have this file in the raw folder. I'll open the SD card and drag these photos, which I just took today just for something to use as examples, drag them into the raw file, and they will transfer over. Now, what I'll do is I'll copy the name of this file. I'll then go back into the edit file, and I will create, as you can see, I'm reorganizing. I will create another folder named the exact same date. That way, this links them together. Once that is done, I have now gotten all of my images on my computer. I will then exit out of this and I'll eject the SD card. The next step is putting them into Lightroom. Now I use Lightroom Classic, not CC. So in Lightroom Classic, you have Library, click on that, go down to Import. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find that raw file. So we're gonna go into YouTube, New Pictures, Raw, and then find our date, click our date, and press Import. Now, once our images are imported, we are all good. Then we can go into the Develop tab and start developing. Now, here's the pictures I took this morning. Interesting. You ever get the feeling that there's like a hidden message in the pictures. Huh. Yeah, me neither. Now, if you wanna start off really, really nice, I have a free pack of Instagram sexy moody presets that I'm gonna give you for free. The link is in the description. You just click the link, fill out the form, and they'll be emailed directly to you. But that's it. Now you are ready to edit. That is how I do it. I'm sure there's a much simpler way, so if you know of an easier way, feel free to let me know, because this is not the foolproof, solid way. It's just what I've been doing since the beginning, and it makes sense in my head. I'm sure your way also makes sense, but I hope this helps a little bit. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. The next video you need to go check out is this one right here. This is gonna give you a ton of tips and tricks to really boost your Lightroom editing game. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in that video. See ya.